What up, LK Mafia? It's your boy Arctic Kicks, and just like that, we back with another one. Alright, y'all, so as promised, I know it's not the day that I said, but nonetheless, promise is a promise. As promised, I was getting to Linkin Park's Numb video. Now, I know this is a song that I've heard, but I haven't seen the music video. RIP to Chester. Let me start off by saying that RIP to Chester. It was my roommate, actually, Travis, that, notified me that it had happened. He was like, I don't remember where the heck we were. I think we were on the road one day, and he just like looked at his phone and he was like, man, yo, Chester from Linkin Park just passed away. And I was like, dang, I wonder why. And then I was told that it was from a apparent suicide. I'm like, what could have been going on in his life to make him want to do something like that? But it's Valentine's Day, y'all. This is a day of love, and why not be a day of remembrance as well? So, Chester, man, this is for you. Y'all boys and girls ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Woo! Love this song. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the girl sitting there doodling or drawing, her left forearm had a ton of cuts on. I'm sure y'all know this. If y'all watch Linkin Park, if y'all seen this video before me, y'all saw that. But under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Hit me. Oh man, that hit me. That never hit me like that before. That all I wanted to do was become more like me and less like you. And then the whole imagery of what's happening with this young lady as well. Because I remember being like that. I remember being super depressed. I remember being suicidal. I never had it to the point where this young lady, where she was cutting herself. To me, that wasn't an answer. That wasn't a thing to do. But I knew many young ladies that would cut themselves. And it was kind of like this, why would you cut yourself? And a lot of them, they didn't do it to the point where they would bleed out, but more for the point of just feeling. Because from my understanding, a lot of people that are in that emotional state of being, from my understanding, a lot of people that are in that emotional state of depression and suicidal tendencies, doing those cuts is part of the reason they're cutting themselves is because they're feeling emotional pain that they can't really explain, but it's there and it's so present that they feel like in order to make sense of it, that they need to feel some type of physical pain, so they resort to cutting themselves. Part of the reason that really got me choked up just now is because I'm looking at this young girl and I see a lot of me in her, where I couldn't really focus in school. I was an artist, so I was constantly drawing. It was getting me in a lot of trouble in class, especially in middle school. And even at home, like I felt like I was alone. So I would just always draw. That's what I did. It's something that I can do and enjoy and be by myself with. So I was constantly doing artwork. But that part in the lyric where he was like, I just want to be more like me and less like you. I thought about that yesterday because I didn't have the best relationship with my mother. My mother had a lot of her own issues that really slowed her down and kept her back in life. I mean, the smallest things, from being afraid of the dark, having to sleep in a well-lit room, to not being able to go into a small space like a bathroom and have the door closed, to walking on slippery surfaces without having a walker or a pushing cart, to be able to step up a curve. Like, she had so many phobias and so many things that she was afraid of, that as I grew older, I felt like I was taking on some of those same fears that she did. And I remember thinking, all I want to do is be more like me and less like you. Sorry, y'all, if y'all new to this channel, this is how we do it over here. We really like to talk about the stuff that we consume and have these conversations, because a lot of times we can relate to the information. Say, don't you see that you're smothering me, holding too tightly, afraid to lose control? That's what it was. My mother was straight, like my mother literally kept me on a leash and I couldn't go too far. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Control, 'cause everything that you thought I would be is falling apart right in front of you. Wow, I didn't even think of that. Like, it looked like that might be the case for her too, that her mother is a lot of cause to that. Oh man, please don't tell me this video is gonna be what I think it's gonna be, or I'm gonna end up crying my eyes out, I swear. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. 100%, man. It was, that was another thing that I had with my mom, that I felt like there was nothing that I can do right by her. I felt like I was constantly seeking her approval and always letting her down, like every single thing that I did. Every single thing. And it was one of those things where it was hard for me to be myself, not only to her, but to myself and to anyone else, because nothing that I ever did that I enjoyed, she took interest in. Like, nothing. Like, hell, I was so afraid to date, you guys. To this day, I've never been in a relationship. That's how bad it was. I was so afraid to date because it was like she knew what she wanted from me. And if I couldn't feel that, if I couldn't find that type of person, no one else was worthy enough. No one else, man. I lost a ton of friends. People just did not want to be around me, and a lot of it had to do with her. Unfortunately, I love her to death. Rest in peace to her. And if this video keeps going the way it is, I'll explain how she passed. And the conversation that was had before I lost her. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. You see how she's like moping around? Everyone and everything is happening around her, and she's kind of just in her head. That was me all the time, man. I remember people would see me on the streets that I went to school with, and they would like message me on Facebook like, yo, I see you walking the streets all the time. Are you okay? You're always walking with your head down, and you always have the saddest look on your face. And I wouldn't respond because I wasn't okay, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to be. Yo, is that dancer? Is that girl that dancer and actress that played in the Step Up movies, or Step It Up, I think? But oh, man, yep, the tears are definitely forming. Golly, I see it. I see so much of her and me, or me and her. Ah, man. I got to a place, man, and I'll never forget this. This is 5 years ago, and I don't want anyone to get any type of ideas from this, but it was either I'm going to choose to change because maybe my life is my responsibility, or I'm just going to end it all. Sad to say, I chose to end it all. I was like, tomorrow, I'm done. I don't want to live another day like this. That was my choice. That was a decision that I made. But when tomorrow came, it was like, and I'm not trying to sound corny or anything, but I honestly believe it was some type of higher being. I don't know what you want to call it. You call it God, whatever it might have been. It was something that called onto me and made a better decision for me. It made the choice that I couldn't make. From that day forward, I remember it was September of 2015. And for like the next 2 months, I threw out everything that I thought I knew, and I just started cramming knowledge into my mind. I just started studying people that were smarter than me and had a better understanding of happiness than I did in all areas of life: love, health, wealth, relationships, just everything. And I just started cramming that knowledge in. I stopped watching TV, stopped consuming mindless content, I literally stopped talking to any and everybody. I got rid of every friend that I had, and I just focused on me and learning as much as I possibly could. And then I got to the point, because I was living with my mother, who was ill, not only physically, but mentally as well. I got to the point where I was like, you know what, Mom? It's time for me to go. I know I'm all she has, but I can't continue to live this way with her having this much influence and control over my life. This is me. From here on out, I have to go. I have to be out on my own. Even if it means living in my car, it will mean I have escaped one problem so that I can correct it myself. So I remember I walked into the living room, and instead of telling her right off the back that I was leaving, because I had so much love for her, I was like, you know what? Maybe I can share some of the knowledge that I have obtained, and maybe it can help her in a way that we can go on this journey together. And what ended up happening was her and I sat there and had a 3-hour-long argument about that information that I have been consuming, stuff that I share with you all on a daily basis right here on YouTube. It's the same type of information, but even more I've obtained over the years. And she went against every single thing that I said. Every single thing. And it was in that moment that I realized, I was like, wow, yeah, what I've been thinking, how I've been feeling, it was justified. It was most certainly justified. Yeah. This is definitely the time for me to go, now that I'm aware of what I wasn't aware of before. So I told her, I was like, you know what, Mom, I gotta go. And she made me feel as though I was a bad child for making that decision, even though I was 28 years old at this point. But the only reason I was staying behind for so long is because I was all she had, and she was very ill. She could barely walk, could not take care of herself. But I hadn't been taking care of me all those years. From when I was 14, at the time that she got ill, to 28 years old, 14 years, I had been focusing on her and disregarding anything about me at all. So I told her, I was like, Mom, I don't know what you're going to do, but I have to go, and I have to leave tomorrow, because if I don't leave tomorrow, I'm afraid of what I might do to myself. Mom, I'm not right. And she cried her eyes out. She was like, you making it seem as though I'm a horrible mother. What did I do? This, that, and the fourth. She played the victim role, which she did a lot with me, to gain control over every situation. I knew the conversation wasn't really going anywhere, so that night I stormed out the house. I went to a buddy of mine's house and I had that whole conversation. I said everything that she said, everything that I said. I was at his place for 3 hours just talking to him about everything that was happening, and I shared the information with him, and it was enough because he was bumming it out. He wasn't really doing anything with his life. It was enough to trigger in him for him to do better. Mind you, this is a guy I was hanging out with every single day. He went from not doing anything to the next day he got up and got on a Greyhound bus, went all the way to Brunswick, Georgia, which is a few hour drive to his dad's house so he can get his stuff together, so he can get his shit together. Well, that night when I came back home, my mom had a stroke, and it was a slow progressing stroke. The next day is when it really took the stronghold effect, and that stroke ultimately took her life. And it was like, damn, like before it was, I had a choice. Either I was going to leave or I was going to stay. But because her life was taken, that choice was made for me. It was like, I don't want her death to go in vain. I almost felt like it happened for a reason. I was meant to grow from that at a level far greater than that I myself could have possibly imagined, so that I can have a voice to speak out on certain topics that we face in our lives, stuff that bring us down or stuff that lifts us up, and to be able to deliver the information in a way that we can really feel and understand and adapt. I have grown so much in the past few years. I can never see myself back in that dark place. And I'm not trying to make it out that my mother was a bad person or anything, because she wasn't. She wasn't a horrible person. She just lacked a lot of understanding of certain things about the human experience. She was very, very loved by thousands of people. She was that type of a person that cared for other people, that did right by other people as best as she could. But like I said, she lacked a lot of know-how when it came to the human experience of life. I wasn't expecting to go all the way here with this video whatsoever, but that just took me back. It made me relive and revisit those thoughts, those memories that got me to those dark days. And at the end of this video, you saw the girl run to the church. Like the church was the end all be all for the help that she needed. And I completely understood that. Her running into there, like she needed to sit down and have a prayer. I did the same thing. I didn't go to church, but I prayed. I prayed because it was like, here's this being that I once didn't believe in. Please, if you do exist, give me some type of guidance. And it was really in all the knowledge and all the books, all the information that I started cramming into my mind was really like the answers to everything that I felt I was lacking in life. But man, y'all, look, I'm gonna stop right there. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to go this deep into this. I don't even know if anybody watching to this point. If you are, comment down below. It's a-okay. But man, I'm gonna end it right here. This got deep. I can't believe I told y'all that story. That's a very, very personal story for me. But dang, I just shared it with the world nonetheless. But anyway, you all, if y'all like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the rich is gonna be down in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you follow your boy right here on the gram and Twitter at all the kicks. Till the next one.